Today on the podcast, we have on a guest that really sees dead people. Coming up next is our interview with Heidi Steffens on the Back to Paranormal podcast. Well, hello, and welcome back to the Back to Paranormal podcast. My name is Brian Mitchell, and I am here with my beautiful co-host,
Marjorie. Hello, and thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're looking wonderful tonight.
Thank you, my love.
Oh, thank you. I get to look at you. So there you go. So anyway.
I'm blushing.
You are blushing. You're beautiful.
I love you.
I love you. So anyway, we have a really good show for you today, and I'm happy about this show. We got a special guest on, and she is pretty amazing. She's had experiences ever since she was really young, and then they were not really good experiences until she kind of figured it out later on. But she had a tough time growing up because she actually saw dead people, and so we're going to talk with her in a few minutes. She's wonderful. So
I loved our visit with her.
Yeah,
it's a two-parter, folks.
2 parts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at the very tail end of the second part, stay tuned because there's a major Bigfoot bomb that gets dropped on our show.
Kaboom!
Which I loved every second of it.
Well, you love the old Bigfoot.
I really do.
Yeah, I have a size 14 shoe. I wonder if that has something to do with. Okay. So anyway, I think so we have
your plank feet.
Yes.
I love them.
There you go. Well, you got all of me. Anyway, we got a special drink tonight, don't we?
Ooh, we do.
Yes, we do. And
we do.
Tell everybody.
Okay, I'm going to tell all of our listeners. Miss Heidi Steffens is from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yes. Beautiful place. Mm-hmm. And, we spent most of our interview with her, the majority of it, except for that tail end of the Bigfoot situation, speaking about spirit and spirits and the spirit world. So we are drinking a cocktail that has a lot of spirit in it.
A lot of spirit.
And it's the Prohibition era signature cocktail out of Minnesota called the Bootleg, people.
The Bootlegger.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
All righty.
Okay, ready, boop? Here we go. 1,
boop.
2, boom.
Boop. I don't like when you do the countdown.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
Okay, you want to redo it? Okay, we're gonna re-boop. We're re-booping.
I don't know why. Why do I have an aversion to the countdown? I don't know.
Okay,
here we go.
So we're gonna boop.
Okay.
Oh.
Boop.
Boop. Here we go. That was for. What's the matter?
Clears the passages.
It really does.
This is.
I'm responsible for the sound effects here. So yeah.
No, he wants you to feel as though you're going down the hatch with the vodka, the lemon lime, the mint, the ice,
the whole shebang.
The club soda, which
the
is
glug glug.
The bootleg.
Yeah. You got to hear the glug glug.
You're more the glug glug.
The glug glug. All right.
You just like to furnish our listeners with the full experience.
The full Monty.
Yep. You give them all the color.
You get it all from us at the Back to Paranormal podcast.
That's what we do for you.
So we have to apologize. This is the weekly apology that seems like we're doing. Well, anyway. We mentioned a group last week, and Mark Paul, who is
Mark Paul,
good friend of the podcast. He has the Swanton Paranormal Discussion Group, Swanton, Ohio. Let's not forget that.
Don't forget that part.
Yeah, and I called it the Stanton Ohio.
You did. It was an error, and we have apologized, but we feel that we really need to make it up to Mr. Paul. He's a friend of our podcast. He's a lovely gentleman.
Yes.
And you said Stanton with such conviction that you know what? You just dragged me down with you.
I did.
And I had to just go along. I was like, yeah, I guess it is. And you know.
Yeah. And
the power of suggestion.
I know.
Wrong.
Yeah. And I feel really bad about it. And, you know, I might as well admit this. It's not the first time this has happened, but we normally get to edit it out. And this time...
We were so convinced.
That it just flew right through. And I feel like I have to pay penance of some sort.
I think you do. I quite agree.
To Mark. And so anyway, I had to dig through the archives, and I found a few bloopers. And
He's laying it bare for you, folks.
I'm laying it bare. So anyway, I might as well.
Hat in hands.
I know. I know I'm going to look like a complete horse's ass, but
That's all right.
I'm doing it.
I'm used to it.
I am doing it because I feel like I need to do it. So anyway, here it is. Here's some.
And after this, you can walk with your head held high, my love.
Okay, because it's not very high right now, but maybe after I drink some more of this stuff. But no, we will have a listen to this embarrassing collection of bloopers. Well, Marjorie, guess who's on? Guess who's on the podcast next week?
I'm excited. Who?
We're welcoming Paul Mark of the Swanson, Idaho Potato. Oh, okay.
I don't think that's correct, my love.
The Swanson, Idaho Potato Society?
No.
Which part?
All of it. There's no potato and no Idaho, and you got Paul's name wrong.
I mean, Mark Paulson.
No,
Mark
no.
Pauly Wally? Wally Pauly.
Brian, oh my Lord. It's not Swanson. It's
It's Stanton?
no,
Spampton.
No.
Stampton? Stampton, Ohio. Swansong, Ohio? Swanson chicken pot pies.
Brian. Do I have to write it down?
I got it. The Swanky Ohio Abnormal Paranormal Group. I'm embarrassed.
My love, please.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
It's okay.
I feel really bad, but I feel cleansed.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I feel...
And you didn't need to
I feel
burn
clean.
sage. You didn't...
No.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, so thank you.
Look, everyone makes mistakes, so yes, they do.
They do. Your sister and your brother and your dad and mother, too.
Everybody.
Everybody. So,
I'm proud of you.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Mark Paul, and all the folks there at the Swanson...
Oh, here we go.
Sorry. Oh, God.
Anyway, without...
Swanton, Ohio Paranormal Society of America.
Okay.
Okay, I got that wrong, too. I just wrote this out. Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
He is.
I am. From the bottom of my heart.
All right.
Okay.
Let's not gild the lily.
Okay.
Now,
I'm having some more of this delicious drink.
Okay, let's boop.
Here we go. Again?
Boop.
No countdown.
No.
Here we go.
Boop. Now you're talking.
There we go.
We have a show for you, folks.
We do.
We have a show.
Yeah, we do.
Heidi Steffens of Minnesota.
Yes, of my spirit experience.
Yes.
That's the name. Okay, so let me. Okay,
This girl's got everything.
she does. She does. No, we're glad to have her on the show today. I'll tell you a little bit about her. She has a spiritual center called My Spirit Experience in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where she works full time. She's a master Reiki instructor, an ordained shamanic minister. I don't know why I
He keeps calling her an ordained, great, now you're getting me inflicted.
ordained shamanic minister.
But you keep calling her a shamanic mister.
Yeah, I know. I messed that up.
I can't with you tonight.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. This drink is getting
got other
to me.
Things too.
She does. She's she's been the organizer of the Minnesota Paranormal Research Society, which is pretty neat, you know. And she co-hosts The Gathering, which is a weekly paranormal show, and also has a podcast on all podcast networks, the My Spirit Experience podcast. Peter Piper picked up. Okay. Would you like to introduce our guest?
No, I thought you were going to do it.
Well, I guess I'm going to do it. All right. So please welcome Miss Heidi Steffens. How you doing, Heidi? How are you today?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm excited to be here today.
We are excited about it.
We are very excited. Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
Hello, Marjorie.
So anyway, my big question right away is, how did you get into all this? Where did it start? Where did it all begin?
I mean, growing up, it was really scary for me, this whole paranormal thing, seeing spirits, hearing them, feeling them. It was awful because I didn't know what to do with it. And I didn't like it. There was nobody to help me. So
Right.
I just tried to ignore it, and that didn't work at all.
Was there any particular thing that happened when you were young that, I mean, did it scare you or did it seem like it was a normal thing?
It wasn't normal. I mean, imagine anywhere you go, there's a lot of people there that nobody else is acknowledging.
Wow.
So you go into your house, you go into your bedroom, and there's all these adults there.
That's a lot.
I mean, normal kids don't go into their bedroom. There'd
No,
be
that's a
two
lot.
or three adults standing there watching you and just standing there, and then you go and at night, I mean, at night it was awful because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I was with my sister. We shared a room and I'd go into my parents' room and just like, there's people in there and my parents would be just beside themselves because they're like, there's nobody in your room. Would you go back to bed? And the only way I could describe it is when I was laying in bed, it would be like they were standing around me and something was lighting up their faces. And the only thing I could say is if people were standing around a campfire,
Right.
and their faces are kind of glowing a little bit from the fire.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. They were standing around a fire, but I was the fire. Right. So,
Okay.
and they were just standing there looking at me, and I mean, looking back, they weren't doing anything threatening. They weren't doing anything mean. Nobody looked scary.
Right.
They were just standing there.
Yeah.
And, but as a little kid, that's terrifying. When nobody believes you.
You were very lucky that you turned out as beautifully as you did, because that's traumatizing. It
Yeah.
must be
It was awful.
so isolating and disturbing, and also, give me a minute of privacy, like,
Right.
Right.
not to make a joke about it. I'm taking it very seriously, but it's that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Did this
So it
was
took
this
me
like
a
a
long time to
24-hour
unravel.
a day thing, or did they appear at certain times and then disappear, or how'd that work?
So when it was daytime, it was harder to see them. I could feel them. And so light seemed to help, having the lights on. So I had lights on all the time
Right.
at night and everything. It was much better to have night lights on and things like that. And then during the day, it was hard to see them. At school, I found that it was very hard to see them. Although the flip side is I could feel everybody's energy. So school was tough for other reasons because I could always feel everybody's energy as well,
Yeah.
like humans.
Yeah.
So, I didn't necessarily see the spirits at school, but I could feel the wild energy of all the kids at school and the teachers and everything like that. So it was a trade-off.
Right.
You didn't see them at school, but you had a whole bunch of other energy to worry about there.
That's
So,
draining to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle. School was not fun. Art was my salvation. That was my safe space. was
Right.
doing art.
Same here.
Same for Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting how it just like that can be such a safe space for kids? And it's a shame that there's a lot of schools that don't have art anymore.
Yeah.
That's a disgrace.
Yeah. And it's changing. The art field is changing along with everything else because
Yeah.
of the artificial
So
intelligence.
would you say, Heidi, that you have a psychic aura?
Yes.
Okay. Do you interfere with electronic devices? Is that maybe what's going on here?
Well,
Your
it could be,
energy?
although tech is not my strong suit, so it could be just that. I don't want to.
Me either,
But
babe.
it used to be a thing
Right.
before I was able to really find a way to get grounded. I couldn't wear a watch. I couldn't be. I like street lights would go off when I'd be outside. You know, I'd be standing and street lights would go off or on or whatever.
Right.
I
That doesn't
figured.
happen as much anymore, which is good. Because I've learned how to manage my energy so much better. Well, I'm good at managing my energy, I should say. So, so that kind of stuff. So any tech issues could just be operator error on my end.
Okay.
How did you when you okay, so in your mid-20s and you were like, this ain't going anywhere, I got to deal with it if I want to live a fulfilling life. How did you go about conditioning yourself to start to get a handle on these energies that you were putting out and taking in?
Or did you reach out to somebody for help?
Someone,
Yeah. Somebody that knew.
Yeah, I wasn't. There wasn't really anybody growing up that understood what I was going through, so it really became kind of a search and discovery process when I got into my 20s.
Right.
This is before the internet, before everybody had internet. So I was really trying to, find books. That was kind of the thing. I was looking for books. I would hang around uptown, try and find people that had, psychic readings in their windows, to try and connect with people that way. That doesn't work very well though.
Right.
So it ended up being my spirit guides that were able to help me the best in the beginning.
Good. Because a lot of times you have these young children who we did an interview with an amazing psychic medium whom we adore. And what was fortunate in her case is her family was like, yeah, your grandma had this, and usually that's very much how it is, it's kind of in the family, I guess.
Yeah, and I think she's able to manage it a little bit.
She was because it was accepted, and she was able to accept it early enough that she was able to train herself, and her system, if I recollect correctly, is the red light, the green light. And if the green light's on, please come in. When I put up the red light, there's boundaries, and she can protect herself that way. Just to not have every day so draining. Like your school experience sounded like it must have been.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you start to actually, I have a question for you. When you see people's energy, like you're seeing people's auras, right? How does that appear?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't do that as much anymore. I did in the beginning, and that was also, I don't know, I guess I didn't realize how draining it was. And so I don't try to see people's auras anymore, like the color.
Right.
I get a lot more information intuitively anyway. So auras, I guess, it's cool. And if I want to, I can work at it, but it's not one of the things that I guess I'm not that good at it anymore.
Right.
So maybe there's a trade-off, like I lost that and I got something else, maybe.
I see. Yeah.
Which is fine.
It's interesting. When did you turn the corner on all this? Like when you started getting help from your spiritual guides?
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying, because there had to be a point there where things started making sense, and then you kind of redirected yourself into this medium. correct?
Yeah, there was a couple of instances throughout my journey earlier on that the only way I could describe it is kind of like you know, we had like grabbed me on my shoulders and were like, Heidi, like just trying to shake me out of this fear state. And, because I didn't trust any spirits, I didn't know any of them.
Right.
And there was a couple of them that were like, we're here to help you. Would you please just listen to us? Like, we will show you how this works, but you can't keep going in this direction. And actually I have a book coming out. This should be coming out this fall. And I talk about some of those experiences a little bit more in depth, because they really did help course correct me. I was going in a not fantastic direction at that point. And so they were like, you got to pay attention to us. We're here to help you and put you on a good path. So please listen to us.
So you have a book coming out. That's very exciting.
What is the book about? The book is about
it's about my experiences from a young age until working with some clients. And of course, it's all confidential. But it's some really interesting experiences throughout my journey and lessons that I learned from those experiences.
Pretty neat.
Does it have a title yet or not yet?
Not official yet.
Yeah, because that's got to be the hardest part.
Well, you let us know what the title is.
Please
we'll
let us know,
podcast,
and we'll, of course,
I will.
That is very exciting.
That is very exciting. Now, when this started happening, is this when you were opening up your eyes to all of the phenomenon?
Maybe what you're trying to say is once you started to accept that this was how it was that the catalyst for kind of opening up the mind to, well, if this is possible to happen, then there's a whole host of other possibilities that I don't want to turn my back on.
Yeah, I don't know if I was that open quite like that, but yes, it was that point where I thought, okay, if there's some good ones out there that want to help me, then I should look at this. And first I need to figure out how, because the way they busted through was, she's not paying attention to anything we're giving her because she's afraid of everything. So we need to come through strong and clear so she gets it. And so I'm guessing they broke some rules to get through to me.
Right.
And it helped me go, okay, at least there's a couple I can trust. But then I had to learn how to communicate with them. And so that was like class number 1, was learning how to communicate clearly with my guides.
Okay. Did you come from a religious background?
Yeah, I grew up Christian in a Catholic church environment, and this was not accepted.
Right.
Anything that I did. So, getting help there was not an option as well.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah. I believe that all these experiences, these things that happen, come out of love. And that's what Jesus taught, right?
I believe that too.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I know Brian and I are always saying, how can you say that you're a Christian and don't believe in ghosts? It doesn't make
the Holy Ghost.
No, it just happened to the one. It just happened to the one guy.
Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And if you take that a step further, I have a couple friends here. I have one friend who believes in fairies, and I had a nanny who, was from Ireland growing up, and she would talk about leprechauns and the little people. And, I always was like aliens and Bigfoot. And then one day I looked at myself and I was like, how ridiculous are you that you're going to laugh at people who talk about leprechauns and the little people and the fairies of the forest and the burial mound gods and this and that. But no, but Bigfoot, but Bigfoot and aliens are okay.
Yeah.
So then I was like, you know what? That's when I just decided to defer to my late father. His one of his favorite phrases, which maddened us as children, because it usually was pertaining to, can we get cookies after dinner? And it was like, that's a possibility, That was one of his mantra. That's a possibility. And that's a possibility. And that's very much what we say very often on this show.
On this show, yeah. It's all possible.
I was like,
Good.
yeah, Daddy was right.
Yep. Might as well keep an open mind because you never know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you see spirits now?
Yes.
Okay, so like
Yep.
they're
the
around
time.
they're around you now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but I've been doing this now professionally and unofficially, but with intention for a long time now. And so they can be around me if they are. That's whatever. But there's no communication. They have to go through my guides if they want to communicate with me, because I need to be me. I
Yeah.
need to do my things. I need to do laundry. I have to go to the grocery store. I need to just relax. So it's kind of like, anybody that does anything full time, you need your downtime, or you're going to be burned out. So
Right.
that would be like a, policeman going home and still doing police work all day, all night, every
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
they can stand around and do whatever they want, but they're not getting through because I'm not working. So if you want to talk to me, you get on the clock when I'm working.
Gotcha.
I like that. Well, what you have is very special, and it's something that should be cherished, and you don't want it to implode upon itself. So you're trying to protect that, and that's a good thing for everybody.
Right.
Especially
Well, and
people who
myself,
need
too.
you.
I
Yeah,
need
for you, of course. Yeah, number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, you help people. I mean, like a surgeon can't go out and be reckless with their hands. Like they have to
Right.
mind what they're doing with their instrument, because it's precious, it's valuable.
How did you get into being you're a high priestess for shamanism, correct?
Correct.
And what is that?
Yeah. So
Yeah. How did that come about when you, because I understand embracing the spirits, but then this is something else. This is basically channeling the energy, correct?
So shamanism is really walking between the worlds and being a messenger between the worlds. And so really we're looking at this earth-based energy and spirit energy, and being a go-between, a messenger for both. And so to honor this earth place that we're in as humans, and honoring the elements and the seasons and the wheel of the year, as well as connecting with divine source and spirit, to bring those two together. And again, like we were just talking about, to be able to help people, to bring guidance, to bring peace, to bring centeredness, to bring awareness, information, whatever it is that's needed, depending on what I'm doing. That is shamanism.
Right.
And so that's something that I've been studying for 15 years now. And I did become an ordained shamanic minister, probably, I think it was 12 or 13 years ago.
Wow.
And it's been just a gift
Yeah.
to really have, to continue to hone my abilities is really the reason that I've continued to develop myself, is to be the best channel I can be for whoever I'm working with at the time.
Right.
And so that's why it's been so important for me to continue my education and to become a minister, and anything that I can do to continue to develop myself to be a better channel for whoever I am working with.
All these other tools, like through Reiki and other readings, and on your website you said you did Ouija board sessions.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people are
No,
afraid
I don't
of
do
that.
Ouija board sessions.
Oh,
That's
I'm sorry.
No, I do not do Ouija board sessions.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
the Ouija board thing, people find them at their houses. They're cleaning out someone's house that gets moved to assisted living, or someone passes away or whatever, and they find these Ouija boards stuffed into places, attics, whatever, and they freak out because they're like, what am I supposed to do with these?
Right.
And so I put it on my website because I've closed and disposed of Ouija boards in the past, and
Right.
people are asking me, so I'm like, well, I'll just put it on my website that I can help them get it out of their house so they don't have to worry about it. Because
Okay.
Ouija boards can be a disaster.
Right. No,
You
I
know,
don't.
people
I don't. I would never. I would never mess.
I don't trust
with
them.
that.
So
Yeah.
it's
Some
just a service
people
that I provide.
do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, that's good that you do that.
That is a nice service.
So you basically, it's like a clearing.
They just have to get it to me.
Right. And you'll take care
Yeah,
of it.
well,
Yeah.
I close it and then I dispose of it. So people don't have to worry when they
Right.
send it to me. And if it's just sitting in an attic, they have no problems, then you just send it to me. If it's been something that they know the history of, they've worked with it, they know that it's caused problems, then we do it a different way on how they get it to me. But as long as they can get it to me, then I'll take care of it from there.
Right.
But it's a service that I provide. As long as they can get it to me, I'll take care of it. And I get probably about 4 or 5 a month
Wow.
sent to me.
Wow.
Wow.
Can't believe that they make that thing. I don't
been
know.
around- been
But
around for
some
a
people
while.
try to use it because they're trying to, be in touch. But I think it's better to just send them to you, Heidi.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there are people with good intentions, and then there are people that are just messing around. They see movies or whatever. They think it's not going to happen to them. So they goof around and they try and connect with, some evil thing just to see what'll happen. And
Right.
it's like, hey, guess what? This might actually work. So be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to be careful with all that stuff. What? I'm sorry.
No, please.
Okay, so I want to ask you. So, okay, you also do. Was it Reiki? Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember when we went to Arizona and
That's right.
that amazing woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how'd you get? It seems like you're exploring like the whole gamut of spiritual experiences. And what is the difference between Reiki and Shamanic? Is it the same, or is it are there some differences? It's Japanese, right? So
Well, yeah, I mean, Reiki is another form of channeling healing. And so the Reiki that I was originally taught originated in Japan. It's definitely shifted and changed as I've been working with my guides. But it was one of those things that my guides showed me a long time ago. They showed me a picture of me doing it. Basically, I saw a picture of myself doing it, and I didn't know what it was. And I had to figure out what it was. And so I started doing it, and I just realized this is something that I can do for people, is be a channel of healing for people.
wow.
And so it was one more thing that I could do. And I started doing it early on when I was really looking at exploring this. I started doing Reiki probably 18 or 19 years, maybe 20 years ago. And it felt so good to have energy just flowing through me in and out. It wasn't getting stuck in me like energy could do if I, wasn't sure what was going on, or I was trying to translate something. The energy would get stuck in me, and it just felt so good to have energy flow through me.
Right.
And so I really, really loved doing Reiki. And the more I was working on myself and clearing my own, trauma and stuff, whatever, it like my channel just kept opening bigger and bigger. And I thought, this is so amazing. And some of the beings that come through and work with whoever it is that's receiving, it has been unbelievable.
That's
and
wonderful.
It's such an honor to be able to be of service to people in that way.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Yeah, we went.
go
We
ahead.
had to go to a family event in Arizona a couple of years ago, and
Cool.
but it was a tough one for me, and just my family's complicated, and I said, something, Brian, I would love it if we could do a sound bath together while we're out there, in this beautiful place. And he said, okay. So I looked into it, and I found this studio that did the sound bath with a Reiki session following. And the sound bath wasn't that great. There was some discordance. The vibrations were not as they didn't transport me. They were not restful. But I'm sure she was trying as hard as she could. But then the Reiki session afterwards, she did me first, I believe, and then you.
Right.
And her reading was so spot on that it was would you say that was pretty, because you had never had anything like that?
Not
So,
that, no.
but it was really pretty riveting. And I had never had a Reiki session before either. And I just was like, how does this woman know this about our bodies and what's going on with us right now? You know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really, I was so impressed by her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
People come to you. You can do readings. You can actually have somebody, I guess, on the phone or in front of you. Do you read their energy, or are you reading? Are you considered like a psychic medium? Can you pick up messages from people around that person that have passed?
Yep. If they're there, I mean, there's not always someone standing right next to you and saying something, but my guides will give me messages from loved ones. So I think that it's kind of an interesting, maybe a misconception. And I'm not speaking for all mediums, because I'm sure that this is not like this for everybody, but what are the odds that your relatives or loved ones or friends or whatever are going to be standing there at the exact moment that you have a medium session with someone? Right? I mean, don't you think that every soul has something else to do once they transition? I mean, they got somewhere to go, right?
Right.
And so what I've seen is sometimes they'll project, your spirit guides or whoever will project the image of a loved one, so that maybe someone needs that to get a message. They're like, oh, it's your grandma, and your grandma's standing here and she's telling you this. And it's like, well, grandma's not really standing here, but maybe so that you understand this is a message from grandma, they're going to project an image of grandma.
Right.
But I mean, most spirits have somewhere to go
Right.
after they transition. I mean, and they might come back here and there, but they're not on call, because they do have other things to do. So
Yeah, of course.
so you get these messages from them, but they're not here. So I can get messages from loved ones, even though they're somewhere else.
Through your intermediaries.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think there are like messages that.
Brian gets messages all the time from his late father.
Yeah. And I'm not 100% sure why. Because I see numbers like
Numerical,
I see numbers like every day. The same numbers pop up, like 313 and 333. And to me, my father was born on March 13th, 1933. And so
wow. Cool.
these numbers come through every day. Like, all of a sudden, I'll go and pick up some coffee, and on the receipt it will have a number, and the number will be 313 or 333. Happens a lot, but
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's the number of
That's
your
cool.
receipt, not the price of the coffee.
It's
to be clear.
No.
And also just at extremely poignant, very poignant moments. So, very interesting. And then he would tell me about this, and then every now and then it happens to me.
Where you get the same numbers.
I'm like, okay, Mr. Mitchell. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, and
Yeah.
it does. I mean, some of our relatives do come back. I'm not saying that they don't, and some of them are like, hey, I'm supposed to be with you for a while. So that might be what they're doing after they transition. So I'm not trying to say that it doesn't happen, because absolutely. And I can feel the energy of him when you're talking. So, it absolutely can. It's just not common for all of them,
Right.
To start hanging out with us when they transition, because there's other things that they need to do too. So,
Of course.
but
Well,
some of it is like, I'm going to stay with you for a while. That's one of my jobs.
Right.
Okay, great. Thanks.
It's funny to me because people go to the cemetery and they visit their relative that's passed away.
Yeah.
And they talk to them. They're talking to like the gravestone.
Yeah.
And I feel for people that do
Elephants do that.
Yeah.
Elephants do that.
Yeah. But the thing is like to me, they're not there. That's their husk or whatever you want to call it. And but their spirit is either around you or it's somewhere else. And so, there's a thing out here because we're on Long Island, and I don't know if they do this in Minneapolis but somebody will get into an accident, they will die on the highway, and then the family puts like this memorial over there.
Right.
They're putting flowers, they're putting pictures and stuff like that.
Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like, well, this is where he is now. And it's like, no, he's not there, or she's not there. She's around you,
Well, okay. I mean, to be fair, a lot of Long Island is Catholic, and I'm a Protestant, but one thing I have noticed about the Catholic religion is that attachment to the physical. Like you don't see the body of Christ hanging on the cross in a Protestant church. You see that in
a Catholic
church.
Yes.
And that's why I think Christmas seems to be more important to Catholics than whereas Easter is the spirit birth, of Christ, and he's not a physical thing anymore.
Yeah, you celebrate that more.
That's
Christmas.
way more reverent,
Yes.
deep reverence than than Christmas. So I think that. I think when people do that, it's like this is the last manifestation of their physical place on this earth.
Right.
And so to me, just being my religion, I find it a little superstitious, but people they want to find some way to connect.
Right.
And if they are not accepting of the talent, the gifts of someone like Heidi Steffens, then they have to find some way. I mean, personally, I'd rather go to Heidi than plastic flowers on the side of the highway.
Absolutely.
But everybody has their own,
Heidi, do you... Okay,
and I understand too, that people need that tangible. If they're not sensitive like you or me or whatever, they don't have anything else to hang on to.
Right.
And so I understand.
Sure.
That there's that need for something to go to because you don't have anything anymore that feels real.
Yeah.
I recently lost someone in my family a few days ago, and it was her time to move on, but it doesn't take away, extinguish the sadness and. I know that there are members of my family who are just devastated by it, and it saddened me terribly, but I was speaking with my mother about it, and she was trying to comfort me, and then I said, she's in heaven, and my mother has never agreed with my ideas about the ethereal and the things that you can't see. And if you can't see it, you don't believe it, that kind of thing.
Right.
And like when I was a little girl, I would say, God loves me, and I know that God will always protect me. And my mom was very discouraging of this belief that I carry to this day. That's okay. She has her beliefs, but I was saying at least, this woman is now in heaven, and my mother was trying very hard to be gentle with me, so I'm very grateful for that, because usually I just get yelled at. And she said, are you sure? I don't know, I'm pretty cynical about that. And I said, no, I'm telling you, I am telling you, it is real, and that is something you have got to turn your mind around. It is real, it is real. And she was gracious enough to say, because my aunt loved horses. Are there horses there?
Oh,
Well, we're
yes, there
Yes,
are.
she's riding all these horses on rainbows, and
Oh.
well. I think there's energy and there's energy in everything, right? So we are energy,
Yep.
and
it can't be extinguished. It
No.
just keeps it
Nope.
just like the ripples in a pond, like love.
Yep.
You cannot terminate it. It transcends time and place. You know, it was really, Brian, it was really hard for us I felt, for us to find the spot where we would stop part one and cut it off, because you just want to keep going.
well, what's interesting with this interview is basically one thing feeds into another, and it's natural, you know. So one thing feeds
Yeah.
into another thing and into another thing, and it's like, and it's really hard to kind of go, oh, this is a good spot to stop,
Yeah.
you know. And so with this, it's like, you know, we both listen to these things after we interview. We wait a couple of days, and then we actually go ahead and we listen, and then we try to find a natural place to cut. And this interview was really difficult.
It was, and another thing that made it difficult, it actually was even longer, part one, because we had so much, and we've had this one time before with Diane Calderon, so much electrical interference.
Yeah.
And
You
that
know,
was-
I wanted to mention that when we came in to do the intro for the show, because when we originally recorded this, there were a lot of technical issues going on, and maybe you picked up on some of that, because we were talking a little bit about that in the show.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
people who have a psychic aura, that is one of the sort of, I guess, symptoms of, I don't know the right word,
Right.
of having a psychic aura is a lot of electrical interference.
Maybe unintentional, but
No, it's unintentional.
but
Yeah.
it can affect lighting. Like all of a sudden, your lighting starts, you know,
Light
going.
bulbs flicker,
and-
batteries run out,
Yeah.
get drained.
Yep.
And so we definitely addressed that. But it was hard to get the conversation off the ground, because there were so many technical hiccups that we had to kind of...
Technical difficulties.
Yes.
And rather than flash a card on the screen, which you wouldn't see anyway, because it's an audio-only podcast, but no, we had to cleverly edit a little bit, and so when you hear the podcast, it's all cleaned up. But it's basically, there were so many technical issues going on with all of a sudden losing her, because we do our podcast right now on Zoom. We're probably going to be doing it in a different service sooner than later. But yeah, we had some issues.
And you know, I also just wanted to say that it is a real testament to this woman's character that from such a small age, she had this, which is, you know, it is a gift. But at the time when she realized this was what was happening, when she was so small, and
Traumatizing.
it's extremely scary.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I'm just very impressed. I'm very impressed by her and what she's turned something that is scary and unknown and traumatizing, and she's turned it into
A positive.
so many positives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many positives, and she really does work with a lot of people and help a lot of people, and I really admire her for that. I mean, when she was telling me about, you know, going into her bedroom as a small girl and these people are all around.
Right.
I mean, my Lord, Heidi, you are brave.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough thing.
Yeah.
The one thing is she does give back, which is, you know, she has these gifts, and she charges for services, but she also helps people, and she doesn't charge for some of the things, special, there's special cases and stuff like that, and she doesn't charge for that, which I think is, I've said this before, I think when you have a talent like that, or I should say a gift, you should be giving back. I really believe that. And some people can't afford to pay the money to do things, and to just give back from your heart, I think is a good thing. So she does do that, but yeah.
She's a good lady.
Yes.
I really enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to part 2, and stay tuned for part 2 because
the one thing I want to say was when we actually finished up, because we tried to be respectful of people's time, we felt like we were just starting to get going, because
I didn't want to let her go.
Well, I think that's with a lot of our interviews. We get going, and then basically it's like they just go on, and it seems like everybody's kind of enjoying, including the people we're interviewing, because we come at it from, I think, a healthy point of view, right? So people really do kind of appreciate that. And when we finised up, it was just basically, we could talk for like another couple of hours about. There were things we didn't even touch on. So anyway.
Yeah, but then you know what? That also is like something to look forward to, having her return. How are things with you? And there's so many people that we've visited with on the show that I look forward to having them come back and return and touch base with them. And see
because we do enjoy doing these shows, and we enjoy doing them together.
Yes. Well, I don't want to do it with anybody but you, my love.
You're wonderful. So
how's your drink?
How's my what?
Your drink.
A drinky.
Your bootleg.
It's wonderful. No, here we go.
So next week will be the second half of Heidi Steffens, and
so you have to come back for that.
Come back.
And some surprising things, and there's always some good stuff on here. Yeah. So anyway, we got some real good stuff coming up too. Yeah. So we got some interesting shows planned.
We do.
And one of them is it's about the theaters across America that we'll be talking about.
America? I thought we were going to talk about them in the world.
In across America and the world.
America and the world.
Yeah.
Theaters being very emotional.
Emotional places, and when the emotions ride high, then basically I think a lot of energy is in these places, and residual energies and stuff like that, which might...
they retain a lot. They retain a lot.
They retain a lot is correct. So we'll that'll be one episode that we're doing, and that's going to be very fascinating. I think you'll enjoy that. And then we have another one that's really kind of neat. That's
we do, but I don't want to. You're going to have to stay tuned for that one. That's
we don't want to reveal.
Be very interesting.
We don't want to reveal our whole set of cards here.
We raise a question that scientists are starting to focus on between the relationship of aliens and mankind.
Oh.
Do.
That's going to be an interesting one.
It shall be.
It shall be. And say no more, say no more.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. That's from Monty Python. Say no more, say no more. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening this evening.
Thanks for putting up with my nonsense.
Okay.
Yes.
And we look forward to next week. And have a good night.
And we'll see you next time on
Back to Paranormal.
Good night, everybody.
Good night and God bless.